Alright, so I'm here again, and today we're talking about carbohydrates. Now, these videos and PowerPoints are made mainly for my students to help them once we're writing CSET queries soon, to help them during this pandemic. So we're looking at carbohydrates. We're going to look at what exactly are carbohydrates, where they are from, what are their functions, how are they digested, their forms, their types, and a lot. What are carbohydrates? Now, carbohydrates are the major source of energy. Major source of energy, and as you know, your body needs energy to do its everyday work. Energy is needed by you, and so we get that mainly from carbohydrates. It is composed of three elements, which is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's how it gets its name. Carbohydrates. Carbo from carbon, hydrates from hydrogen plus oxygen. So you think of hydrate, you think of you being dehydrated, and what do you need to hydrate yourself? Water. So carbon and hydrogen plus oxygen. They are called saccharides, which also means sugars. So they are sugars as well. And they're produced by photosynthesis in plants, which we will look at briefly in the next slide. Now, sources would be from vegetables, their leaves, their roots, their fruits, nuts, grains. Those things we eat, we will get carbohydrates from those things, which will give us energy. Now, these are the things that are needed for photosynthesis to take place, and this is a cycle that is happening here. So, a plant receives carbon dioxide, you have water, you have energy from the sun, and it releases oxygen. And you breathe in the oxygen and you release carbon dioxide, and so the cycle continues. So these are the things needed. You need energy from the sun, you need water, you need oxygen, you need carbon dioxide free photosynthesis. So we covered that carbohydrates are sugars and they provide energy. Now our body breaks down carbohydrates that you get from the food that you eat, and it extracts the energy, and, and it releases carbon dioxide and water. You release water through various actions such as perspiration and urination and so on. So that is what happens there. Now, glucose is the primary carbohydrate our body uses to produce energy. That's in our body. Glucose, that's in our body. All right, that's our blood sugar. Glucose, it's the primary carbohydrate. So we're about to learn about the other types of carbohydrates as well. Now, function, as we would have gathered, provides energy. Energy for your daily activity, energy for everything in your body to happen. Now, what is a known fact is that the carbohydrates that produces energy, if that energy is not expelled, it can be converted to fat, which is stored under your skin, at your tummy, places the places where fat can be easily stored and very difficult to get rid of. So if you're using carbohydrates and you're getting all this energy, you need to expel it by exercising, by walking, and doing active stuff. Forms of carbs. It comes in these three forms: sugars, starches, and fiber, which we will look at in the next slide. So we're going to look at the sugars first. Now, the types of carbs and their chemical composition. We have simple carbohydrates, which is monosaccharides, disaccharides, and we have complex carbohydrates. So we're going to look at the simple carbohydrates to decipher what is this monosaccharides and what is these disaccharides. Now they are called simple sugar. It's the simplest form of sugar. Mono meaning one sugar. One sugar, the simplest form of sugar, cannot be broken down to anything simpler. So mono means one, saccharide sugar, one sugar. So we have the simple carbohydrates, which are the monosaccharides, and that's their chemical composition. Again, the C represents carbon, which is 6 elements of carbon, 12 elements of hydrogen, and 6 elements of oxygen. And those examples of simple carbohydrates would be glucose, which is dextrose or your blood sugar, fructose, which is found in fruit, and galactose, which is found in milk. Natural sweeteners. All right. So these are all natural sweeteners, but the glucose is within your body, your blood sugar or dextrose. Now, this is the chemical composition of monosaccharides, glucose, fructose, and galactose. And so it's made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, as you are seeing here. Simple sugar, one sugar, they're not joined together by anything. So that is their chemical makeup. All right. Here. So again, maltose is equal to glucose, and glucose plus fructose is equals to sucrose, and lactose is equals to glucose plus galactose. So let that sink in.
Carbohydrate digestion occurs in three places: the mouth, stomach, and small intestine. In the mouth, salivary amylase, which is produced by salivary glands, helps carbohydrates to break down. This enzyme catalyzes digestion of the starch to disaccharides. This process occurs in the stomach. The food, which is not completely digested chemically, will be digested in the stomach. The enzyme which helps the process is still the salivary amylase. It goes together with the food from the mouth into the stomach. In the small intestine, starch is digested into disaccharides, but the enzyme which helps this chemical digestion is pancreatic amylase, which is produced by the pancreas. The next process of carbohydrate digestion occurs in this place. Disaccharides will break down into glucose by brush border enzymes, which are produced by the small intestine.
Sucrose, cellulose. Now we have to eliminate cellulose because um let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Which of the files obtained from fruits, vegetables, and cereals? Mm, Monosaccharides, you would get it from fruits and vegetables, not so much cereals. So we can eliminate monosaccharides, which are simple sugars. Sucrose is also sugar. Starch, you will get it from vegetables, some vegetables, not so much fruit. So cellulose, remember cellulose is the framework of all fruits and vegetables and all materials like how you're made of. So cellulose you can get from fruits, vegetables, and cereals. Starch is an example of, you already know it's see the elimination. So lipids is fat. Lipids are out right away. So that leaves us with poly, oly, and mono. Mono is a simple sugar. Starch is not within the simple sugar. So monosaccharides are out. And once you know monosaccharides, you know oligosaccharides. Those are monosaccharides. Many little monosaccharides come together. And so that's out as well. So that leaves us with polysaccharides. Starch is an example of that complex carbohydrates, which is polysaccharides.